MMA Boxing Talk here. This is a prediction video for Valentina Shevchenko versus Julianna Pena. This is a very important fight for the women's bantamweight division. This fight will determine who the number one contender is, who the real number one contender is. And there's a good chance the winner of this fight will fight Amanda Nunes, after, and unless, Home versus Randomy winner fights Nunes. We'll see what happens. But regardless, this fight is very important for this division. One thing I do want to add real quickly before I get into it is that the fight will be held in Colorado, which is the Mile High City, very high altitude. Shevchenko did go out early and had her full camp out in Colorado to get acclimated to the high altitude. Julianna Pena, however, had her camp in Chicago. And from the looks of Pena's Instagram, she got out to Colorado about a week ago, roughly a week ago, which could very well be a problem considering Pena has a very, very aggressive style. It's very taxing on the body, her style, and it's a 5-round fight. So that's something to look at. It'll be interesting to see how well they're conditioned as the fight goes on. But let me get into it. I'll start talking about Pena first. She's 8-2, 3 KOs, 3 submissions, 2 decisions. I believe she's 4-0 in the UFC. She's a very strong grappler, extremely aggressive at all times. She likes to bully her opponents on the feet, get close to them, bring them to the ground, whether it's, a trip or a takedown. Her striking isn't the best, to be honest. It's very sloppy, and it can be telegraphed for the most part. The last thing she wants to do is try to outstrike Valentina Shevchenko. But if Pena can consistently bring this fight to the ground, it could be a very, very long night for Valentina Shevchenko. Shevchenko's, of course, not anywhere near the grappler that Pena is, but she does have decent, her grappling's all right. She's a black belt in judo, judo, I believe. But that's Pena's game. That's Pena's world. There's no doubt about it. One thing I want to add about Pena before I move on to Shevchenko is I was going to put out a video kind of ranting about this, but I never ended up doing it. Julianna Pena has really rubbed me the wrong way, and also many, many fans with her sense of entitlement. I don't want to make this long, but before she fought Cat Zingano, she was already saying, if I beat Cat Zingano and don't get a title shot, I'm leaving the UFC and all this ridiculous stuff. I mean, before the Cat Zingano fight, she only had 3 UFC fights. At that point, Jessica Eye was her best win. Jessica Eye is an average bantamweight fighter, and she beat Cat Zingano pretty clearly, despite it kind of being a boring fight, in my opinion. That's her only big win. And now she's saying again, the fans should be grateful that I'm taking this fight and all this stuff. It's like nobody's clamoring for her to fight Amanda Nunes. This fight is a great fight. She should be wanting to do this fight for her legacy and her resume, But it is what it is. Moving on, Valentina Shevchenko, 13-2, 4 KOs, 5 submissions, 4 decisions. One thing I did want to note is neither Pena or Shevchenko has a submission win in the UFC. Just wanted to note that. But Shevchenko is very highly decorated striker. She's won so many world championships in kickboxing and Muay Thai. She's won 11 championships in total in her career. An interesting fact here: Shevchenko beat Joanna Jędrzejczyk 3 times in Muay Thai tournaments. Once in 2006, 2007, and 2008. All decision wins over Joanna Jędrzejczyk. So clearly, she's a very good striker. She's very good at outpointing her opponents. Very good counter striker as well. She can be flat-footed for sure, but she does use footwork. She does get in and out. But when she throws her her strikes, she's normally flat-footed. Shevchenko, she's definitely going to have the advantage on the feet. I can really see her landing some clean shots on Pena. Pena, like I said, very aggressive. She tends to, walk into punches a lot of times, which might not be a good recipe for Pena. Having said that, Shevchenko definitely wants to avoid the takedowns and trips, and also avoid being held up against the cage. She wants to keep her distance at all times if she can, and definitely make Pena pay every time she pushes forward by counter striking her, using her crisper striking, her more accurate striking, her more technical striking, and I'm I'm going to be honest. This is a very tough fight to predict. I think it's very close to a 50-50 fight. There's going to be a lot of people picking both to win this. But I do believe that Valentina Shevchenko will pull out a decision win. Um, might be unanimous, maybe a split decision, but I do see Valentina Shevchenko winning. I do think the cardio will play a factor. Pena's never been 5 rounds, and this is at high altitude. She didn't go out early to get her body acclimated to the high altitude, so that could hurt her in the last 2-3 rounds. And Shevchenko does seem to get better as the fight goes on, and she, the takedowns and the trips are going to get sloppier and sloppier as the fight goes on, assuming Pena will tire, after the 3rd round, let's say. So I see Shevchenko winning the last 2 rounds if it goes to the decision. And but early on, it's going to be tough. There's no doubt. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe Pena won't be able to get to her, won't be able to bring her to the ground. Maybe Shevchenko's striking will just be too much for her. But I do think that, early on, Pena's going to win a few rounds. But I do think in the end, Shevchenko will win a decision. That's it for this one. If you liked the video, subscribe. Check me out on Twitter at MMA Boxing Talk 1. Peace.